Discus Basics 101. Today, we are going to be covering the very basics of how to navigate Discus, how to filter resources, and really how to get around the Discus site. We're going to be peeking into different resources while we do that. So I'm really excited for today. This is the perfect session for somebody who is just learning about discus and is wanting to know more, but it's also a really good refresher for anybody that uses discus a lot and maybe you always go to the same resource or two. So hopefully today's session will open your eyes to everything that discus has and give you a broader view of everything that discus can do for you. So I am Tara Jeppertinger. I am the discus training coordinator at the South Carolina State Library. I have a background in education. I taught third and fourth grade for 6 years in Kershaw County and then in Richland 1. So I'm really passionate about education and reading and everything discus related. So if you have any questions after today's session that come to you after we're together, I will be sharing my contact information. So feel free to shoot me an email, and I would be happy to help you with whatever it is that you need. So today's session is going to flow just like this. So we're going to start with a discus overview and then get into that access information. So how can you access discus? And then we're actually going to get onto the discus site. We're going to navigate into several of our resources and learn a little bit about them along the way. And then at the end of today's session, we will have time for questions. And then I'm going to share our contact information with you and kind of how to keep up with all things discus. So that's really where we're headed today. I'm trying to keep today's session short and sweet. So if you feel like after today you need more one-on-one help with any of our resources or a specific type of resource, feel free to reach out and our discus trainers would be happy to help you with any of your training needs. So let's get into today's session. So for anybody that is new to discus, discus is South Carolina's digital library. So it's a virtual library provided by the South Carolina State Library, and it is a free set of resources available to everybody in South Carolina. So whether you're located in Charleston or Columbia or up in Greenville, all these resources are free for everybody in South Carolina, and they're free for K-12 students, educators, patrons at a public library, but also for everybody in South Carolina working at home. So we're going to get into that access piece next, but just know any of the resources that you're seeing today, you can access at home, patrons can access at home, parents, teachers, students, they can all get into these resources at home. So the goals behind Discus, this is really the heart of Discus, what we do, our mission statement, and to summarize all these wonderful bullets, it's that we want to provide these core quality resources to everybody in South Carolina, regardless of their location or socioeconomic status or background. So that is the why behind Discus, and we're really excited that we get to share our resources with you today. So I wanted to include this discus research cheat sheet. I know a lot of us are coming to Discus for research, whether it be at your public library or at school or with your students at home. And so I just wanted to go over some things here that make the Discus resources a little bit different. And these are so helpful to share, whether it is with a colleague or your students when working on Discus, that all of the resources that you're going to see today, they're all from credible places. They're from credible sources. So trusted names like Britannica, Gale, these are resources that are purchased and provided for you. So a little different than Google, where the resource is there, you don't know who wrote them, you don't know the background of the site, and you really don't know if they are a trustworthy source. So everything today is going to be a credible source. A lot of them also include amazing research tools. Like read aloud features and enlarged text that really help students of all levels and all needs get whatever it is they need done. So we're really, really proud about that too. There's also a lot of educator resources, so worksheets, graphic organizers, lesson plans, all that really, really good stuff, as well as translation tools and easy citations, making our resources accessible to everybody. So I did want to go over these things before we get in today because this is really what, separates Discus from a lot of their resources online or just on Google. So that access piece that I was talking about, you can get onto all of our resources at scdiscus.org, and that's how you access Discus. Now, if you're working at a public library or public school, you may never be prompted for a username and password. Many of you working at home, you may not be prompted for the username or password either. I know that our rate of getting right into our resources is really, really high. But if you are ever prompted to enter the username or password, this is what it is for our current year. So the username is Discus 2025 and the password is idea1 exclamation point. This username and password changes every August, and Discus will notify school media specialists, Discus contacts, public libraries about this change. If somehow you ever miss this information and you want to get on Discus and you're prompted for the password and you have the old one, reach out to our Discus office email, which I'll provide at the end of today's session, and we will shoot you over that username and password, no problem, so that you have instant access. So that is never a concern. If you ever have that roadblock while using Discus, reach out to us and we would be happy to help you. I did also include a QR code down there in the corner. So if I don't know where everybody's working, but if anybody wanted to follow along on their phone or wanted that QR code, it is there for you. And now I'm going to hop onto the Discus site so we can really start navigating Discus and learning some of those basic navigation tools. All right, there we go. So this is the Discus homepage. Hopefully you all can see the homepage. So if anybody wants to throw me a thumbs up in the chat so that I know that you can see the screen, that would be great. I see at 102 we saw someone was having trouble seeing the screen. So can everybody see the Discus site? Um, you can just throw me a thumbs up or a yes just to make sure. Yay! Okay, I see thumbs up. Perfect. So this is the Discus homepage. So whenever you come to Discus, this is what you'll be greeted with. So we have this description of what Discus is, as well as quick access to our featured resource, tutor.com. And before we leave today, I will go into tutor.com, but it's a fantastic resource. And just know if that's why you are coming to Discus, you could come straight to the homepage and not even have to go into any of these areas, and it's right here. So you do have that quick access. But for today, our Discus Basics session, we are going to go through these categories right here and really the best uses and best practices on how to find the resources you need. So we have the categories of A to Z resources, Discus Kids, by grade level, and by subject. In each of these tabs, you're going to find all of our resources just separated in different ways. So within this A to Z resource list, you're going to find every single resource that Discus has to offer you. You do have these different filters here at the top, so you can filter by subject, grade level, vendor, as well as we have all of these different quick access letters. If you know the resource you're looking for, you know the name of it, you can get right there. For today, I'm going to show you how these filters really function so that if you're looking for a specific type of resource, you can get there quick. So if you are looking for a literacy resource, you would filter here by literature and language arts, grade level. If you work with high school level students, you could click high school, and then a vendor. Here are all the different vendors that have those types of resources. If it doesn't matter to you, the vendor, then you can just leave that blank. Or if you are loyal to Gale or Britannica or any of our other resources, you can filter right there by vendor, click apply. And now you're only looking at those literacy resources for high school students. So this is just a great way to filter through those resources and get where you need to go in a short period of time. So as I'm going through these resources, I'll notice that I have this brief overview of what the resources have to offer me. So Bloom's Literature, right here, our first resource, is comprehensive coverage of core authors and works, some of the most studied in literature courses today. So if that sounds like the resource I need, I can click on Bloom's Literature right here and it will take me directly there. I also have this blue icon right here that will give me just a little bit more information about this resource so that I can really see what is in this resource and is this the correct resource for me without spending too much time in the resource itself and exploring and getting lost and then deciding, okay, you know what, maybe this isn't the resource for me and my students. So as I come here, I see that it's for middle school through adults, and I have some more details right here. So if I read through those details and this is the resource for me, I can click access directly from that page as well, and it will take me right into Bloom's Literature, where now I have access to all these different resources. Bloom's Literature is an amazing resource that we have. It focuses on the most studied authors and works throughout history, and they really try to keep it current with what is really popular right now and being used in classrooms currently. They also have a Shakespeare Center, which is really awesome, linked right here on the home page, and you can go directly there and you have access to full text works of Shakespeare as well as a background on Shakespeare. There are different topics that you can explore. You could also have access to, and I'll go back to the home page so that you can see some of this amazing stuff. You also have access to full text works right here. So if I was to say go into, let's do Hamlet. So if I was to click on Hamlet here, I can see that I have the overview here at the top, criticism, character list, images, videos, as well as all of these results over here on my sidebar. So essay topics, different themes and topics throughout this work, and so on and so forth. It's just an amazing resource. So I did want to show you a quick peek into some of our resources, and this is an amazing one, especially if you work with any older patrons or older students that are studying literature. This would be a great resource to recommend to them. So I'm going to hop back to Discus and we're going to go back to that resource page where I had filtered and say you decided Bloom's Literature was a great resource for older students, but you have a young student at home that is in elementary school and is looking for ebooks to read. So full text ebooks. It's about to be summertime and your little kids are at home and they want some more books to read. You could come here to the subject, filter by ebook, grade level. I'm going to leave the vendor blank, and now I see all the different resources that provide those full text ebooks. Here, Tumble Books contains over 1,400 read aloud storybooks. That sounds exactly like what I need. So I'm not even going to click the blue icon. I'm going to go right into my resource from that A to Z page. And now I have access to this full text library of ebooks. I can explore and click on a ebook, and I'll show you what the ebooks look like within the Tumble Book library.
Catch that chicken. Written by Atanuke. This is Lami. Lami loves chickens.
Here we go. So that is an example of some of the different full text books that you can find here on Tumble Books. They have storybooks like the one we just saw, read-alongs, which are longer textbooks that also have that read aloud feature. And then there also are ebooks that don't have the read aloud feature, and they are just full text ebooks. Lots of books by Kate DiCamillo and award-winning authors that are sure to kind of spice up your summer. So I wanted to share this too because there are all types of resources in Discus. So we have resources for those older students as well as those younger students. And those filters that we were just using can really help you find the resource that you need. So that is our A to Z resource list. You can filter and use it in many different ways to suit your needs. If you are somebody that works with just littles, so grades pre-K through sixth grade, Discus Kids is the place for you. Also, if you work at a public library and you have young students coming into your library and they are using Discus and they're looking for a place to navigate and you're looking for age-appropriate resources, the Discus Kids section is a wonderful place for them to kind of live within the Discus site. You'll know they're on Discus Kids if they have this yellow band here at the top. And as I scroll down, these are only resources that are appropriate and grade level suitable for those students. So lots of really amazing resources within here. And say you have a student who is looking to do research on a subject in your library and they're looking for a great resource. If they're K through 6, you can send them to Discus Kids. They could filter by subject or vendor here at the top as well. So if they were trying to research famous people for a research project, they could click famous people, apply, and now resources that feature famous people will be filtered right here. So I'm going to pop into PebbleGo next to show you one of our most popular resources. PebbleGo has a wonderful module that focuses just on biographies, and it's located in this next session section right here. They also have an animals,
Animals.
science, and social studies module. If you are using PebbleGo in your library or at home or at your school and you want to turn off those hover sounds, they always almost give me a heart attack. I always forget that they're there. You can go to settings and right here, turn off those hover sounds so that you won't have those noises popping up all over your classroom or library. I always forget that they exist and it always scares me. So here are those modules, animals, science, and social studies. So if any students are researching these topics, this is a great place to send them. But we'll go back to next so we can see these articles. These articles are for students that are a little bit older. So you can see here at the top, it says grades 3 through 5. These articles are for those grade levels. If I hover over Pebble Go, the grade level says K through 2. Really, I've seen Pebble Go and I've used Pebble Go with students up through 4th grade. So it is suitable for students, above that grade level, but that's just really helpful in case you forget which resources are for younger students and which are for older students. So as I click on biography, I can go into artists and writers. We'll click right here and we'll go into Beverly Cleary so that we can see what one of these biographies looks like. And here are what the articles look like. They can all be read aloud by pressing this play button right here. They can easily navigate to different sections here at the top or scroll down the full text article. They also can easily cite this article as well as view an interactive timeline right here and look up words in the dictionary on PebbleGo next. These activities linked here at the bottom are provided for every article, whether it's in PebbleGo or PebbleGo Next. There is a print ready activity ready to go. Here's an example of the activity that's linked for this biography. And you can just download it right here, print, and you're ready to go. Pebble Go also features amazing educator resources that are always linked on the bottom of the screen. So if I click here, this is just a little peek into some of the amazing educator resources that they have. They have lesson planning support as well as different worksheets that you can download and explore. So I'm going to show you some of the topics they have in their lesson plans. So they have some general lesson plans as well as animals and biographies. So if students are working on research, this is a great place to start is in the animal section and using one of their worksheets to break down their research. So let me find for you dinosaur research. And within the lesson plan, they go through everything, the goals, materials you'll need, the entire lesson plan, and then if there are any worksheets needed within the lesson, they will also provide those for you. So here we go. It's taking a second to load as I scroll down. Here is the worksheet linked for this activity, and then the little research note notebook that is provided. So tons of great resources on PebbleGo. And just if after today that looked exciting to you, this is a great place to kind of stop and explore on PebbleGo because it's just amazing. So that was within Discus Kids, a great place for those younger students to be. Next, we have by grade level. This is really, really helpful if you are working in a classroom setting. If I was working in, say, a middle school classroom or with middle school students, I would have them trained to know that when they come on Discus, instead of going to A to Z resources, they always go to their grade level. For those littles, they are welcome to use the early childhood and elementary section right here, but Discus Kids is also easy access to that. If I click on middle school, I'm now only looking at resources for those middle school students, and the same as if I filter to high school, I would only be looking at resources for those high school students. Really, really helpful, especially if you're working with a specific age group. So within this middle school section, I did want to show you one of my absolute favorite resources for research for students. It's called Britannica School. You'll see it right here. It has that trusted Britannica name, and it also has two counterparts. It has a Britannica School Elementary and a Britannica School High. So whatever grade level your student is in K through 12, Britannica School will have a module for them. You can access those modules in those different grade levels, or you can always click here on the Britannica School at the top and you can access any of those grade levels right there. But this is just a great place to send students for their research. We have a ton of webinars on Britannica School, and I can always do a one-on-one with you if you ever wanted to just dive into research on Discus. But a great place to send students for their research, and I'm just going to use the example of South Carolina so you can see what an article looks like before we go into our other sections here. But it's really engaging, really fun, and again, it has those read aloud features for students. It also has the translation tools. So if you have any patrons or students or families that are looking for research friendly websites and resources that can also be translated into many different languages, this is a perfect place to send them. So I'm going to click a language, and my article is now translated for me. So really user-friendly and easy to use, and you're there in a second. There also is this open dyslexic font. If you have any dyslexic learners, you can click it and it will change the font so that it's easier for them to read, as well as you can increase and decrease the font for anybody who has any sort of visual impairment. A fantastic resource. It can also be read aloud. So all the articles on Britannica School can be read aloud, and you can click this play button right here and it will read the article aloud for them. So really, really great. So this is Britannica School really, really fast. I wish we could dive in. I'm so tempted to keep talking, but I'm going to take you through the Discus basics, so I won't get too in the weeds with it. But if you are in education, if you click on this emblem right here, they have a new Teach Britannica site that is just amazing and has lesson plans and bell ringers and exit tickets. Just some really, really good stuff to think about, especially for next year if you're kind of winding down the school year, or if you work at a public library and you have educators coming in looking for some assistance. This is a great place to send them and kind of think about using for next year. All these are fully ready to go and download and use. So a really, really great resource linked within that Britannica resource. So Britannica School, elementary, middle, and high is a really great place to send any of these grade levels for their research. And now, to finish this off, we're going to be in the by subject section on Discus. So I wanted to show you some different types of resources that Discus has before we go, in case you have any patrons or you yourself need them or students that need these specific resources. Our by subject section is really, really helpful for anybody who, say, is looking for test prep resources or career resources. This is a great place to send them because they can click and go. So they come on Discus, they go to by subject, and if they are looking for specifically tutoring and test prep, they can come down here, click the link, and now they are only looking at our resources that feature these items. So if they see this up here at the top and say they're looking for SAT prep, they can click, have instant access to Learning Express Library, our resource that has these amazing resources. And let's cross our fingers that it will load while we're on our Zoom. But there we go. Now they have access to these resources. These are full text modules and practice tests that they can work through. It will time them, it will save their work. It is just an amazing resource for them. Any students preparing for the AP exam, PSAT, all that really, really good stuff is linked directly there. I did want to show you that also in their career preparation section, they have preparation for many different exams. So let me go home to the home page. Come on, let's see if it will register. Let's go back out, make it work for me this way. There we go. But there's preparations for all sorts of really specific exams in different careers, military placement exams, um, just anything. Anything that you could think of, it's here. So here is the career preparation section. And here you'll see civil service exams, commercial driver's license, electrician plumbing exams, nursing exams. There also is work keys assessments, which is one of our most popular questions that we have in that the lovely Ashton will get is how patrons can access the Work Keys exam. So it is right here, and this is all free preparation for them. So just an amazing resource for them. So that is all located in the tutoring and test prep section. You'll also notice a link to that tutor.com that's also on the home page. Tutor.com is basically featured in every section, so every grade level, so many of our subjects because it can help with so many subjects. Tutor.com is instant live access to a live tutor. Students and patrons and adults have access to these tutors 24/7. So all they have to do is click connect with a tutor now, enter their topic, subtopic, question, click submit, and they are ready to go and they'll be connected with a live tutor. There also are these options right here. So if you come in and create an account, it's all free. It just needs somewhere to kind of store this information. You can schedule a session in advance. So say you want to work with the same tutor every Thursday at 5 p.m., you can schedule that ahead of time so that you know that yourself or your student has that tutoring session coming up. Students can also drop off their work. So writing, so essays or math questions, and a tutor will review them and get back to them within a day or so. That's also another amazing resource, as well as this test prep and college and career section. So tutor.com is an amazing resource that I just had to shout out because I always have to shout it out. It's just so awesome. And then the last place I'm going to show you before we go back and answer any questions anyone might have is our career resource section. So in the by subject guide, you'll notice all these different subjects that you can click on and explore the resources. But I did want to show you this career resource section because I know we have some people joining us from public libraries, and this might be a popular question asked at your library by patrons coming in. So these career prep sites right here, Learning Express Library, Britannica School Elementary would be for younger students researching careers, but these are going to be really helpful for anybody entering the workforce or looking for more information. My favorite resource that we have for this would be Ferguson's Career Guidance Center. It is just the perfect place for anybody who's either planning out what career they want to enter, what college they would like to go to, um, or they're just looking for information about different careers and industries. Ferguson's also features a completely free, easy to use career assessment. So there's a short version and a long version. You can find that right here. That can kind of help guide their research, but this is a really helpful place for anybody who's needing help writing a resume, writing their cover letter, working on their interview skills, and they actually have job postings and financial aid information within Ferguson's. So I can't recommend it enough, and it's just a wealth of knowledge if that is ever a need that comes up um, for any of your Discus users. So that is Ferguson's Career Guidance Center, and that is really how we use all of these different areas of Discus. Up here at the top, this is where you're going to be able to learn more about Discus. So you can learn more about Discus here at the About, as well as keep up with our news and our webinars that are upcoming here. If you wanted to schedule a training with us, you can go to the training tab. And if you scroll down, Discus training right here, if you click this, you can schedule a Discus training. That could be virtual or in person, and a Discus trainer will come out on the day of your choosing, or you can pick a day online and I will join you and we can kind of dive more into resources that would fit you or your staff. So that's always an option to you. And these amazing resources right here. So our guides, our handouts, our videos, all that really good stuff. Our how-to and our support feature amazing resources too. So if you have time, you can go in there and explore. There's great worksheets and some lesson plans using Discus. So there is some really good content in there. And then on this contact us section, if after today, I'm going to show my information in the PowerPoint, but if you ever need us, go to this contact us section and you have the Discus office email right here. This will get you to Miss Ashton, who's with us today, and she would be happy to help you with any problem that comes up. So if you need that username or password, or if there is a resource that is not working or functioning properly, let us know and we want to fix it and we will fix it. So if you email Ashton at that email, we will be happy to help you, as well as our phone and fax information. If you wanted to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, you can do that here or our listserv. I create a newsletter every month where I link different resources that go with either the season or a holiday or something fun happening that month that you could use in your classroom or your library, as well as a great place to keep up with any new Discus news or resources that we have. So that is an option for you too.